Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Street Cop Training Podcast. We're your host, founder, and CEO of Street Cop Training. My name is Dennis Benito. To have with me a very special individual right out of our Street Cop Survivors Club. Really, really great dude. Has a crazy story. But without further ado, I just want to say thank you for being here today. And I think a lot of people are going to find value in the things that we do and discuss. And your time is valuable. I understand that. I appreciate it. But no further ado, TJ Webb.
Hey, Dennis. Thanks for having me, man.
So give us the couple-minute version of who you are, where you're from, what you do, and then we'll go into what the fuck happened.
Yeah. So TJ Webb, I work for a small agency in Delaware. Started out on patrol like everybody else, worked up through some special units, ended up landing in the Marshall's Fugitive Task Force. And that's where my story begins. Yeah.
How long were you on the job before this incident occurred?
At the time, this was December of 2020. So at the time I had pushing 18, about 18.
Oh, wow,
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Still had that fire in your belly after 18 years?
Yeah, man. I mean, Fugitive Task Force, it was running and gunning every day. And I was loving every second of it, man. Yeah.
That's awesome, bro. I feel like sometimes for guys like you and I don't know if I never thought I'd leave. I thought I was going to be there till 65.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm technically I'm still there. I'm on workman's comp still, but I wasn't like looking for like an out or anything, I was just living the dream, man. I was loving it.
So obviously the story's pretty intense, dude. I've read a lot about it. Why don't you give us and by the way, did you know about this company prior to this event, or did you learn about us after the event?
I didn't follow you guys a lot, but I knew about you guys. And then a friend of a friend turned me on to the Survivors group on Facebook just recently, like a couple months ago. So I got on there, and I'm not real active on it, but I follow other people's stories and stuff, and it's really helpful. It's a really good group. It's really something special that you started. So it's really cool. Yeah.
Dude, I did a class yesterday, literally in Kansas City. Actually Lenexa, Kansas, but Josiah Overton, who did one of the podcast episodes, happened to be in the class. I was surprised. I didn't read the roster. I was like, oh shit, dude, you're here. And he's like, yeah. So, we talked about that yesterday and how important that was. And we talked about fear and people are scared to do things. I was scared to do a lot of things, but I don't ever let fear dictate my decisions. Although I have fear, I'm not afraid is my motto. And we talked about that. I said, it's an amazing thing. Even though I can't, when I started that group, I said, guys, listen, I will start it. I will get you off and running. I will be here to support you. And anything you need, you can reach out to me, but I can't run an additional group.
Right. Yeah.
But when's the next meeting? May 12th, I think. 15th?
I think it's May 12th. I think it's next Thursday. I wanted to get on it, but I'll be in DC for Police Week at
brother. You got to come you're coming to the tent, right?
What days are you guys there? Are you there all week?
The whole fucking time. Tent City. We got 5 tents.
I'm there Wednesday afternoon through Friday. So yeah, maybe I'll figure out what you guys are at and I'll pop over.
Bro, you can figure out where the fuck I'm at. I'm Tent City, motherfucker. Right, that's where the fuck I'm gonna be. And you know who we have with us in the same tent? We'll have Copper Gear, who does our coins and our patches and all that other stuff. Yeah,
that's badass.
Yeah. We're gonna have Johnny Castro at our tent, and we're excited about that, man. People don't know who Johnny Castro is. He's the guy who does all the paintings for police officers who were killed in the line of duty. It's badass, right?
They are super badass. Yeah, I gotta stop by and see that.
I'm pumped that the dude's in the tent with me. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I just want to see some of the stuff, man. It's cool.
Yeah, no, it's wild shit, bro. I'm so fucking excited about that. I'm really looking forward to the week. And dude, definitely come see us for sure.
Oh, I'll be there. Yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right, so T, let's go into the night. Tell us about what was going on, what you guys were up to, and then what the fuck happened.
Yeah, so it was a normal day at work. It's a federal task force, so we're statewide. My team itself, we have 4 guys on our team. We work like the southern part of the state. 3 of us were available this evening. One guy was out on another assignment, unfortunately. So yeah, any other work day, we all get home. I get home like a normal time for once, which is like 5 o'clock. Usually we start our days pretty early and we run pretty late into the night. Like I said, we're pretty running and gunning. I get home about 5 o'clock. We operate on like group text threads. So we get a message about a guy wanted out of Reading, PA for attempted homicide. He's supposed to be staying at the Econo Lodge Motel down here at the beaches in Delaware. At the time, I wasn't far from there. I was pretty close. So I offered to go out and do a drive by the hotel and see if the car was there. The plan was to go in the morning and hit the hotel with Pennsylvania. So being that I was close, I wanted to go check out, get eyes on the vehicle, just verify. So I head out there, vehicle's in the parking lot. I park not too far from it, take a picture of it, call up supervisor, let him know. As I'm on the phone with him, suspect walks out. He's got his girlfriend with him and 2 small children.
Holy shit.
They hop in the car and I let them go. I'm not going to do anything by myself, obviously. So we let them roll. I head back home for a little bit. And when I get home, it's just not sitting right with me, knowing that the guy's there and we're going to wait till the morning to get him. The guy's wanted for attempted homicide. I'm starting to think, what if some patrol cop pulls this guy over for a red light or something? He has no way he's dealing with, So I talked to the guys on the team about, picking this up and getting him tonight. Talked to the supervisor. He okays it. So that was probably within about an hour. So about an hour later, I'm back out there again. 2 guys on my team show up. We got other guys en route from across the state, but they're probably an hour out, hour plus. So as we're on surveillance with 3 of us, target rolls back in the parking lot of the motel, does a quick lap around the building, obviously doing counter surveillance, and takes a parking spot. So as this is happening, we're trying to figure out, are we going to let it ride and let him get in the hotel? Are we going to try to take this on our own? What's the best option here? So we're discussing this, and we decided that the best thing to do was probably, with the 3 of us, which is not ideal, obviously, we're going to try to take him in the parking lot, simply because we didn't want him to get back into a hotel in a fortified position in a hotel room with possible hostages. You have possible hostages. You could have a murder-suicide. If you get up there and something goes bad at the breach of the door, you got shots fired in a hotel. We feel like there was more bad that could happen out of that scenario. So we decided to take him in the parking lot ourselves. So the deal was, based on where we were positioned at in the parking lot, I was going to pin the rear of the vehicle. My one partner was going to pin the driver's side, the other guy passenger. So as we roll in, I come up, pin the rear. One partner comes up passenger side. My partner on the driver's side comes up. He's got to stop short because there's about 2 vehicles in between him and the target. So as I came in to pin him from the rear, I had to come in at an angle. The way my vehicle was, I couldn't get directly behind him. So as I come in at an angle from his driver's side rear, I exit the vehicle. And as soon as I exit, I'm kind of like facing where he would be if he stepped out of his vehicle. So we're talking 6 to 10 feet. As I get out of my vehicle, instantly I see his door crack. I see a hand come out, and I just start seeing muzzle flashes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. First thing I saw, it was barely even a hand. It was just flashes of light coming at me. And
God damn.
You always hear people talk about, like, they don't really hear it, and I didn't. Like, I could hear the gunshots, but it wasn't anything like when you're at the gun range and you have your headphones off and you're like, oh, man, it's super loud. It wasn't even like that, man. It was like a distant sound. So as he's engaging me, he's coming out. As he's engaging me, he's starting to come out of the vehicle, and I'm engaging him back.
You had a handgun or a rifle?
I had a rifle initially. When we decided to take him, I put the rifle up and went with the handgun because there was only 3 of us, and I thought, well, if we go hands on, I don't want a long gun out there swinging around. Mm-hmm. So I transitioned in the vehicle before I deployed out. So I had my handgun. So we engage each other. My first round goes into his door. I have two more rounds to go off. I hit him center mass. His shots land on me. He actually gets 6 rounds off that hit me. I don't know how many he got off. He got 6 on me. So I had one go through my left shoulder. I had one go through my hand. 2 in the right arm. 1 in my femur. And I took 1 in the chest off my plate carrier that actually ricocheted and landed stuck in my chin.
How bad did it stick in your chin? Just stayed in the fucking...
The whole thing, the whole round was just sticking out. Like to the point where like I could taste it, like I could feel it with my tongue.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, it was fucking nuts. So I didn't know about all these rounds I took until later. I knew. So when my leg got hit, it dropped me because it shattered my femur, like just fucking dropped me.
Oh, dude.
So I fell at the back. like quarter panel of his car, like kind of near the rear. And when my leg got hit, like it just shut me down. My whole brain shut down. So when I fell, I had no control of my body. So when I actually fell, I fell on top of my hands with my blade carry and crushed my hands. So both my hands were basically paralyzed because they were totally broken. My hands, fingers, wrists, it was all broken.
Wow.
So when I hit the ground, I come to, and I can still hear shots going off. I can see my weapon underneath of his car on the rear side of his car. I don't know where shots are going, if he's coming after me. I don't know what's going on. So
but you couldn't move.
I could move. So I ended up crawling underneath the back of his car, but I had to use my elbows and my left leg, because my right leg was like, it was laying at a 90-degree angle. It was just totally like not even attached. And then my hands were paralyzed. So I crawled underneath the car. And I tried to lay on top of my handgun just so if he did come back and finish me, I wasn't going to let him get my gun. So I'm laying underneath the car. I'm hearing these rounds go off. I don't know where they're going, who's firing what. I'm just trying to get cover the best I can until this thing ends. So it felt like an eternity, which is probably, the whole incident was probably 20, 30 seconds, maybe, I'm guessing. It wasn't very long. The gunshot stopped. I start hearing one of my partners yelling for me. So I'm yelling back. He comes over, grabs my legs, yanks me out from underneath the car, which hurt like shit, obviously. He's like, where are you hit? I'm like, I don't know. My hands are fucked. And my leg's obviously hit. So he turned against my leg, drags me over to his car, tosses me in the back seat, and boom, we're off to the hospital, which is about 5 minutes.
Trauma center, or just
No. So once I got there, they flew me out.
I don't want to go too far ahead, but how long were you at the first hospital before they got rid of you?
45 minutes to an hour.
Okay, go back to where we were.
So he gets me in the back seat of the car, and we start pulling out the parking. Now, before we do every mission, we always brief everything. You know, we have an ops plan. So in our ops plan, we always designate one person as the medevac. I'm the medevac. This is going to be the car. This is where my car keys are. And we all program the nearest hospital into our phones for the GPS. Mm-hmm. So when you get into the car, boom, you know where you're going. We did all that. He did all that perfectly.
That's great.
He put the phone on the dash where his phone holder is for the GPS. And as he pulls out of the parking lot, phone falls off the fucking dash, rolls underneath the seat. So he doesn't know where the fuck he's going because he's not from this area. Luckily, I'm still awake. I know what's going on. I'm in shock, obviously, because you're not going to not be in shock. But I know what's going on enough to know how to get to the hospital. So I'm giving directions on how to get to the hospital. And
you guys have radios? Are you letting other law enforcement agencies know what's going on?
Yeah. So we were operating off of our channel. So we let the dispatch center know that we're out there, and then the three of us were operate off of our own secure channel with the other guys that were coming. So once we got into the vehicle, he switched channels back over to the main county channel and let them know, like, hey, this what just happened, shots fired. I'm taking TJ to the hospital. So
it was able to catch up with you guys as you were on your way to the hospital, like any marked units or anything like that? Yeah.
So there was units in the area, marked units. So I told him how to get to like the turnoff we had to take. And then there was a state police unit there waiting for him to guide him in the rest of the way. But luckily, like I said, we were 5 minutes away, so it wasn't too bad. So I'm in the back seat, and the whole time I'm in the back seat, I'm just talking, trying to, I'm talking to keep my head level, and I'm just assessing all my injuries. I'm like, all right, my hands are jacked up. I think I'm shot because there's a hole in one of them, but I can't move either one of them. I don't know why. Because like I said, when I fell, I was out for a second. I knew my leg was jacked up, and I knew I was probably bleeding out internally because my leg was swelling so bad.
Wow.
And there was a lot of blood, obviously, but it was just swelling up so bad and I couldn't move anything. So my first thought was, I know I'm going to get to the hospital, and I know at some point they're going to knock me out. It's a given. It's obvious in a scenario like this. So what I kept telling myself in preparation was, when I wake up, whenever that is, be prepared to not see that leg anymore because it might be gone. Because I was expecting the worst because I didn't want to wake up and be like, holy shit, my leg's gone. I wanted to wake up and think, oh, it is still there, So I'm expecting the worst the whole way to the hospital, slowing down breathing. I'm telling jokes in the back seat, and my partner Josh is probably getting more annoyed because I'm telling jokes at the time. But I'm just trying to keep everything level headed. We get to the hospital, pulls up to the ER door. They rip me out of the back seat on the gurney there, roll me in. Like I said, I got a big plate carrier on, so I'm trying to give the nurses instructions on how to get it off. And that was the last thing I remember for probably. There was flashes of things I remember in the next 24 hours, but I really wasn't awake again for like 48 hours.
Did you go out on your own, or did they put you out?
They put me out. I was telling them to put me out. I remember that. I remember telling them, you got to knock me out because the shit's hurting. Because I remember one of the nurses, when I came in, they were trying to take my boots off, and she pulled on my right boot.
Christ, dude.
And I just went ape shit because it was attached. So,
oh my God.
But yeah, so they knocked me out. I was there for like 45 minutes to an hour maybe, and then they loaded me up on helicopter and flew me north.
Where'd you go? What was the trauma center you went to?
Christiana, Delaware. It's in Newcastle County, Delaware.
Okay, so back up towards Jersey.
By Wilmington. Yeah, towards Jersey. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So during this time period, I'm married, I have a family. I'm telling my partner, I'm like, dude, you gotta call my wife. Like, somebody's gotta call my wife. He's like, we're gonna take care of it. Don't worry. Da, 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 da. My wife actually found out. This is the thing about social media. Yeah, it's a good and there's a bad. You know, my wife found that it hit social media so quick that my wife knew probably within 10 or 15 minutes through a friend, because everybody knew. You know, Delaware's a small state. It's a small law enforcement community, so shit travels quick. You know. So she was actually in bed reading my son a story. He's 7, and she got a phone call. She got a phone call from her friend asking if she was already needing anything. She's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So that's how she found out. And then she got a ride to the hospital. And when she got to the hospital, I was already out. They had already knocked me out.
Who drove her to the hospital?
At the time, we were in between houses because we had just sold ours and we were building. So we were staying with her parents, with her dad, and so my stepmother-in-law stayed home with my son, and my father-in-law drove my wife to the hospital. Yeah.
Did you guys have a plan in place at your agency or the Marshal Service to notify somebody and what that was going to go, how that was going to unfold in an event like this?
I think the Marshal Service probably did to an extent. I can't speak for them really, but I don't think my department did. I think we've had officer involved shootings. We've never had anybody shot. So it just kind of, I think they did what the best they could in the moment, but looking back,
that's why, you know, like,
it could have been.
You got to have a plan in place. I've been saying this forever. Yeah. Everybody's got to take some time.
Yeah.
At least bring it to your administration's attention and say, I know this may never happen, but if it does,
there's too much chain of command. There's too much chain of command. You can't put something through that. You can't put something like that through 10 things of chain of command before you make a move. Somebody's got to make a move, you know? Yeah. It goes from people on scene, and then it goes to a dispatch, and then it goes to the on-duty
shift commander,
supervisor. Yeah, right. And then it goes up the chain. It's like, when do we end this? Make a call.
No. Yeah, I'm saying before these things happen, have a plan in place. This is what's going to happen if this does happen. We need to know where your family is. This is how it's going to go down. We are sending a marked patrol unit that's closest to your town there to get your wife and bring you to where you are if you're still alive.
And like, through all the hoops you got to go through, they probably ended up notifying her within a half hour. So that's not too bad. She just found out so quickly because of social media.
Happens all the time, dude.
Happens all the time. There's no way around it. It's nature of the beast.
You got that service that literally notifies everybody from dispatch.
Yeah, that automated service. We have that.
Yeah, like that. You know, that black box that people send to me. I don't even have the app.
Yeah,
but it's an app that you just get constant notifications.
Yep. So from there, they flew me up to Christiana. This was like during the height of COVID. It was December of 2020. So my wife and my parents were up there for the first 24 hours, which I don't know any of it because I was out, you know. So they could see me, but once I came out of surgery, excuse me, that was it. With COVID protocols, I couldn't see my family for an entire week. The first week I was in ICU, I couldn't see my family.
Fucking bullshit, dude. Right?
Never saw my wife. Never couldn't see my son unless it was like FaceTime. Couldn't see him. Wouldn't allow him up. Yeah.
I'm going to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate the gentleman who did this to you. He was wanted for an attempted homicide, right?
Right. Yeah, out of Reading, PA.
What happened in that incident? What did he do there?
He ended up. It was attempted homicide on his brother, actually.
Wow. Shot him.
Gun related. Yeah.
What
So he
happened?
fled. He fled from up there. Fled with his girlfriend. She had 2 small kids. She actually had 3 small kids. There was another kid in the hotel room that we didn't know about, and 2 smaller ones were in the vehicle with him.
So when this incident unfolded, were the kids in the car?
Yeah, they were in the back seat. Yeah, they when their first shot rang out, they bailed out of the passenger side and took off on foot, which was great. Obviously, because at that point, my partner that was on the passenger side, he knew the kids were in there. You could see him, so he was kind of stuck on engaging the suspect for a moment. Once they bailed out, he was able to get rounds off through the vehicle at him, which actually scared him off of me. So he actually, when I was on the ground, he actually ran by me.
What was the verdict? Did you guys kill that guy?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he. I had rounds in center mass. They had a shit ton of rounds in him. He still ran. I think it was like 72 yards or something. He ran.
Wow.
Until he fell out in the middle of a reload.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
So he was ready to go. He wasn't going to jail.
No, he was ready to go. He had a Taurus 9mm. He had 2 mags with him. Yeah.
Jesus. Was he able to reload any?
He was in the middle of his first reload when he expired. He actually collapsed in the park line and expired right there.
Well, that makes life comfortable for everybody else, because somebody who chooses to do this to other human beings, especially our heroes in blue,
right.
I don't think they deserve anything less than what he got.
I mean, he obviously didn't care about the kids or nothing either. So
no, he's a fucking piece of shit.
Exactly.
So good riddance. And you can quote me on that in the fucking any articles you want to write. Putting children in harm's way.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's ridiculous. Sad.
So I want to go back to, you're at the hospital. How long did you spend in the hospital? Did you finally get to see your wife and kid after the week?
Yeah, so I was there it was 7 days. The 7th day I left. On the 6th day, it was a battle with the hospital. We even had like the governor call the hospital to try to get my wife in there, and they just weren't having it.
Wow.
And then finally, the day before I left, somehow they allowed her up. So I finally got to see her on the day before I was discharged from ICU.
Wow, what a moment, huh?
Yeah, it was great. It was great, man. Just because I could only talk to her on the phone, you know. And
you were talking.
She had seen me, but I hadn't seen her. And then the next day I was released. They allowed her up there that day, and that was the day I got to see my son.
Wow.
So that was great. But it was brief because from ICU that I went to a live-in rehab for 2 weeks. Yeah, but at the hospital, I will say they would allow one member of my agency and one member of the Marshal Service to sit with me 24/7. So I always had 2 guys with me the whole time. I was never alone.
That's great.
Which was great. It was great. Yeah, it was great. I was never in that room by myself.
It's important, man. It's wonderful to hear that somebody somewhere had the wherewithal to put their fucking brain to use and give you the support that you need. And I was just talking on the phone with Hannah Heyman, who's our in-house clinician. And I was talking about, like, I just met a guy recently. I don't want to say, and just hearing his story of how he was mistreated after a significant incident. I'm going to keep it very vague. And how his administration just did such a shit job. Yeah. It like breaks my heart. She's like, why do you think that is? Like, I don't think they're bad people. I think they're just fucking horrible leaders.
Yeah, there is that. I was treated very well. I was very lucky in my incident. There's always going to be things you can look back on and change or do differently. And mine's no different than that. But all in all, I was treated very well. I was treated very, very well.
That's great to hear.
Even from the community, it was great. I had everyone rallied behind me. I had no negative experience with mine.
And that was at a time where we were experiencing this, the anti-police sentiment in this country. Yeah. And by the way, what you saw in the news and in
Right.
fucking 6 major cities. Outside of that, I'm not going to tell you, pretty unaffected here in New Jersey. I don't know what you guys felt in Delaware.
I mean, we had some protests and stuff early on when all that shit was going on, but nothing got too nuts. It wasn't too bad. Most people they didn't even live here,
So what kind of surgical procedures did they do?
So I had a rod placed in my right leg from my hip to my knee. I have pins and plates in both hands. I had some shrapnel removed. I still have some shrapnel.
You keep some souvenirs?
Yeah, I got some souvenirs, man. I got some souvenirs. Actually, that was December. So in February, I had to have another surgery to have 2 rounds removed from me. I still had 2 bullets in me.
Wow.
Had to have those removed. Yeah. Actually, I still have those too. Yeah. So I've had over the course of the past, my last surgery was this past December. And I've had somewhere probably around 8 to 10 surgeries over last year.
How are you dealing with things now? What have you lost as far as mobility or cognitive abilities, or if you don't mind talking about walking us through some of that shit?
My legs doing really well. I can run, I can jump to an extent. No, I wouldn't say I have full mobility in my leg. Like if I sit and cross my legs, it's kind of difficult because I don't have that range of motion.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a constant soreness in my right leg. It doesn't go away. It's just 24/7. It's just like something I live with now, and it gets worse. Some days are worse than others. Just depends on what I do because I'm pretty active. And I'll get into that later with you. My hands, I'm still in physical therapy. I'm not back to work yet. I'm still in physical therapy. We're down to 2 days a week now for my hands. So my left hand, you can see let me see a scar. I have plates in here.
Oh yeah.
And I had some in my thumb here. They're actually gone now. They took those plates out. So I can move this hand. This hand is fine in my fingers. My thumb is fine down here, but the knuckle doesn't bend.
Okay.
It's just there, it's stuck there. And it will be. It's not going to move. My right hand, I have plates in my thumb here, you can see. And then you can see the difference in like how much I can spread my thumbs apart. So this one is kind of stuck to. That's about all I can get. Like I can't close a fist,
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got. That's all I got in there. And that'll be permanent too. That's not going to get any better.
Jesus.
So, and there's a constant soreness in my right hand. It can be worse too. Like I did some yard work yesterday for like 10 minutes and it was like, the pain was killing me afterwards. Sometimes it just gets bad. And then, at the gym, it's tough. Like I work out a lot, so it's tough to put muscle back on because I'm limited on the amount of weight that I can pick up or hold with this hand. So it's frustrating, but I make the best of it. It is what it is.
I don't think people really understand the severity of how much your life becomes limited when you go through an incident like this. So to try to have compassion for something like this, and people get hearing this story, imagine it being you empathizing with what you've gone through. And again, bro, I know a lot of people now that were through this organization were severely injured in the line of duty, and hearing the stories, man, I just so much more compassion. And, people really have to continue to give you guys and girls support.
Yeah. That's why I love that group, man, because not to get off track a little bit, but
go.
Like after my incident, it was like, I talked to a lot of cops that have been in shootings and that's great, but it's really hard to find another cop that's been shot and we'll talk about it. That's really something hard to find. So that's why that group that you've got is such an awesome thing, man. Because guys are going there and it's a closed group. You can go in there and talk about what you want to talk about. Guys will reach out to you. You can reach out to them. It's awesome, man. It's really great, cool.
We would never find enough counselors, and what we're finding is people are counseling each other. I'm really proud of everybody.
I'm going to try to get more involved in here. It's pretty neat. Yeah.
Listen, man, you do what you can. What can you do? You can't do everything. You got a lot going on. Everybody knows that. We'll do the events, sometimes do the meetings, and not everybody's there. And I try to tell these guys, like, look, these people, you don't know what they're going through. Let's not get angry that they're not there. You've been through it too. They may not be in the same mental state that you're in.
Right.
I mean, these guys and girls, they're brother. they're in some rough. People don't understand the mental state of going through some shit like this. You can't
It's
even
everyday
help
grind, man. It's an everyday grind. From the morning you wake up to let you go to bed. It's everyday grind.
Tell me about some of
Really
that,
is.
if you don't mind.
Yeah. I feel pretty fortunate. I think it's because from the moment I was laying in that parking lot, I was already thinking, how are things going to be going forward? But I was also thinking, and I still think it to this day, I was determined that I wasn't going to lose in that parking lot. He was not going to beat me in that parking lot, and he didn't. And I kept that mindset going forward from the moment I woke up in the hospital, and I told myself, he didn't beat me in that fucking parking lot. He's sure as hell not going to beat me in my own fucking house.
Mm.
And that's the mindset that I keep going forward every day. I got through it. I fucking won, and I'm still fucking winning. He ain't going to beat me,
Mm.
And that's just the mindset you got to have every day. And sometimes it's hard to muster that up because we're human and we all have bad days. We all have bad moments, and I do too. But it's just working your way through it. It's just keep working through it, Look at the big picture of things. You're still here.
What lessons have you learned, or did you learn, that you want to pass on to other cops about this incident?
Time, family. Time with your family is precious. And leading up to this incident with the task force I was on, we were all brothers. We all loved one another, and we were determined to do the job, regardless of anything else. That was first and foremost. If one of us had a case come up and, hey, I need help doing this at 8:00 at night or midnight or 3 in the morning, it wasn't any question. We were going to go do it. It didn't matter what was planned, what was going on. It was work, and we're going to go do it. And that's one thing looking back. If I were to go back, I would change. I wouldn't be so ate up with it, because I know a lot. Like, we're cops, man. We all get ate up with it. We all want that awesome traffic stop. We all want that big bus. We all want to catch that fugitive. We all want to be there for our brothers and sisters. You don't want to miss anything, but at some point you got to reel it in, and you got to give enough time to the family, because that's the most important thing. Work is always going to be there, but those precious moments with your family are not always going to be there, especially if you have kids. They grow up like weeds, man, And that's one thing, being home for the past year and a half and spending all the time I've gotten to spend with my son, like taking him to school, picking him up, throwing the baseball around whenever the hell I want to. It's been amazing, And that's stuff that I didn't not ever do, but not to the level that I do now, And I make sure I always make time for that, regardless of what's going on. Even if I have something scheduled and he wants to go do something, if it's something I can put off, I'm putting it off. Time with family, it's precious, and that's one thing you can't get back.
Sounds like there was something good that came out of this, huh?
Yeah. That's another weird thing is, it's not that I'm thankful this happened, because I'm not, but I am extremely thankful for what I've gotten out of it and where it's put me, and that just comes down to falling back on keeping that mindset and always trying to find the positive in something, not everything has to be the end of the world. Yeah. It's just keeping that positive mindset, man. And having the outlook just to keep going forward, make something out of it. Don't let someone else make your life for you. You make your own life.
T, I wanted to ask you more questions, but I don't know how I'm ever going to top that. You know what I mean?
Man,
dude? This is not the last time we do it, but I think this should be the end of the episode, because that was.
Well, it can't be the end, man. I got so much more to tell you.
Let's do it a second time.
I love it, man. There's a second half to the story that I'd really like to share. So yeah, definitely.
Let's say I am not cutting it off, but that was very powerful, and I don't want to disrupt that ending, dude.
Yeah, we definitely got to do part 2, because there's another chapter. If you read some of my bio, there's another chapter of this story that is where it really takes off for me, and I want to get that message across. Yeah,
brother, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, man. I love it. I'm so glad you guys had me on, man. I really am.
Oh no, you're not glad. Yeah, and bro, the amount of value that you brought to people by telling your story and sharing that, real good.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. It's I'm sure you get it all the time, but it's not that I don't like doing these things. It's just like, damn, I gotta go fucking do a podcast. You know what I mean? So, but when they're done, I'm so glad I did them. It's one of those kind of deals.
Sometimes you do things that aren't for yourself.
That's right. My wife tells me that all the time, man. She's like, this happened for a reason, and you need to make sure you follow through with it. I'm like, you're right. So I go do this shit,
Brother.
So,
There's a lot of things that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
But I know it's more than it's more than just about me.
It's bigger than you, right? It's bigger than you.
It's way bigger than me.
Yep.
And sometimes there's pressure around. It all kind of rides on me and making sure that I'm playing this game the right way. And a lot of responsibility comes with that. And when I am slightly irresponsible, even to some degree of maybe fucking off, I pay for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I really have an obligation to be serving the world and the law enforcement community with the skills and abilities that I have to make things better.
Yeah. You're doing a great thing, man. You got a lot of people that are following you, man. You're doing a great job. Yeah. You guys are all doing a great job there, man. You really are.
Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. You know why? And I honestly think the core of it is the people associated with this company, the instructors, the staff here, they're the best people I've ever known in my life.
Yeah. Like that's key, man.
Dude, we just went to Nashville last week with most of the administrative staff here. We have a lot of people in office. I remember being there about halfway through. I said, I cannot believe that these people are literally the best people. They're the most fun. They're the most kind. Yeah. They're cool. And I think that's probably the most important ingredient of why things are going on the way they are for this organization is people and I think they really catch on to who we are. So.
It's awesome, man. You're doing a great job. Just keep it up, brother. And I'll definitely get that with you next week because I think that'd be really fucking fun, man. A lot of fun.
For sure. And by the way, man, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this. I know it's not easy at times.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure meeting you too, my man.
You too, brother. You too.
Right,
can't wait to see you next week.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, buddy.
Bye-bye.
See you.